Welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. So, aside of Erica having to abuse Cornelia due to her mishap, even though it's not, I don't think it's entirely, although judging from like the last couple of parts, I don't think it's necessarily her fault per se. I mean, you can probably make your own judgment that is, but yeah. I was trying to sneak in the joke and what else? Erica was trying to solve the riddle that involves the how the letter appeared near the entrance of the dining hall in front of the door and where the knocking sound occurred. And as far as I remember, everything about it makes no fucking sense at all. Like, I don't know. Their guess is best as mine, and I'm too my critical thinking is probably incompetent apparently. But yeah, that was the issue. It was like I don't know. That was like, how can you combat the a truth that makes? How do you combat a narrative that makes no fucking sense? Like, and it's just leaning to the fantasy bias. So it always does that, man. Jesus Christ. All right, let's continue. This is from what from where we stopped. I mean, what I stopped. That is the this is going to begin the second Twilight or beforehand. With the crime in the early morning, we'd completely forgotten about breakfast. So we now had our first meal of the day at a time that could never be called breakfast time. Never be called breakfast time. You might as well call it brunch at this rate, if you probably know what probably would know. No, you might as well make a big, full, fulfilling meal and then just call it the entire day until tonight. Even Goda-san's wonderful meal, which had supposedly been in the works since yesterday, provided no comfort. The several empty seats quietly burdened us with a pain-filled sadness. Then, in the middle of this meal that felt like a beguile, Erica suddenly stood up. Everyone focused on her to see what was the matter. Her expression was somewhere between relief and insanity, as though she'd made some groundbreaking and strange discovery.
おい、どうした？大丈夫か？
わかりました。わかりました。私にわからないとお思いですか？ええ、わかりましたもん。そんなバカなことあるわけがない。
With a hideous expression covered in cold sweat, Erica glared and lashed out at Battler.
分かったって何がだ？
あなたが3階の書斎から飛び降りられるわけなんかないじゃないですか。私たちは誰一人あんたが飛び降り中庭に着地したところなんて見てないんですから。
This fucking Battler is like, are you really still going on with this? Just sit down and enjoy your meal. That's what
あな
she's.
たは中庭からはしごをかけて3階の窓にルドルフさんが登るのを見ていた時、その外壁の構造をよく観察し、雨どいなどをうまく伝えば3階の窓から中庭に降りることは不可能じゃないと気づいたんです。あなたは飛び降りてなんかいない。雨どいなどを伝え、みっともなく外壁を這い降りたんです。どうです、私の青き真実は。さあ、反論は？
反論って
反論はない。ならば私の真実は有効ですね。ほら見たことか。かっこつけて飛び降りたように見えたのは全て幻想。あんたはかっこつけて飛び出し雨どいにしがみついただけなんです。
あの時の論点はじいさまが書斎を脱出可能だったかどうかだぜ。 そしてじいさまは窓から抜け出すことも可能だった。俺はそれを証明しただけだぜ。飛び降りようが這い降りようがそれは変わらねえはずだがな。
はぐらかさないでください。人間風情が3階から飛び降りられるはずがないんです。それ見たことか、それ見たことか。いかがです、我が主、我が推理。
お前疲れてんのか？飯くらい落ち着いて食えよ。
That's what I was gonna say. Just what? Can you just fucking relax? It's like it's already done and over with. We can go over with it once the game ends. Like, when he escaped the courtyard through the window, Battler really did use the rain gutter to fall down the wall, just like Erica said. His hand had slipped halfway and he had fallen from a considerable height, but he had managed to land on his feet. No one had witnessed this, but most likely everyone in the dining hall now except Erica had realized that something like this had happened. I mean, look, listen. I'm pretty sure it's possible to fall from the third floor window just like, just like that, but I guess if you're fucking ninja enough to like fucking grip the fucking rain gutter and just slide down like a fucking firefighter, then sure. That is also a possibility, but my goddamn. Since the very beginning, no one had believed that he jumped down from the third floor window, even if they hadn't witnessed that directly. So they had no clue what Erica was complaining about all of a sudden, and started to whisper, staring at her with cold eyes and dubious faces.
反論できないでしょ。あなたの飛び降りは否定された。私の真実が勝ったんです。私の青き真実は有効です。我が主、それをどうかお認めください。私は無能ではありません。失望もさせません。必ずやこのようにご期待に応えてみせますから、どうかお見捨てにならないでください、我が主。
Facing someone that might have been somewhere beyond the ceiling, Erica spread her arms and yelled. Then, as if in answer, a massive lightning bolt landed very close by. It was an incredible sound. They could even feel the earth shake. At the same time as that sound, Erica went limp and fell into her seat, like a puppet who just had all its strings cut. Then, as the sound of wind and rain slowly filled the room once again, Erica slowly opened her eyes as though recovering from a bout of dizziness. Then she continued eating in silence as though nothing had happened, as if she had been acting normally the whole time. Didn't Erica just stand up suddenly and yell something strange at someone? Automatically enough to make one doubt their eyes, Erica continued eating quietly as though everything was perfectly normal. When they saw how ordinary she looked, everyone convinced themselves that they were totally worn out, and that they must have just seen some illusion of Erica suddenly yelling. So Erica's sudden transfiguration of a few seconds ago was treated as a daydream, and faded out of everyone's memories. Erica quietly poked at her salad and muttered in a voice no one could hear.
ありがとうございます、ダイベルンカステル卿。我こそはフルダエリカ。我が主の駒にして分身。必ずやあなたのために最高の物語を献上してご覧に入れます。そうそう、やっぱりナイフとフォークって食器として原始的ですよね。お箸が一番です。サラダを最も食べやすいのはお箸だとは思いませんか？ ね、皆さん。
Are we going back to that same topic again? Like, you've already said that. You've already made that topic up from the last, what, several parts ago, and now you just decided to recycle that one again. Wait, that was the end of this chapter? Man, I put like an over 50. Okay, 1 hour reading through that chapter and it's just done. Okay. God damn. Sunday, October 5th, 1986. It's 12:33 p.m. Closet.
午前3時にバトラさんがゲストハウスに戻られて。
Oh. Is this the one? I think this is this the chapter where we can actually see Natsuhi going to the closet? I mean, I haven't read this yet, so.
その後30分くらいで皆さんも解散されたんですね。そうよ。
You know, I usually thought like I know Erica is a human, but I always gonna make this joke that she's kind of schizo. I mean, she just straight up just unexpectedly just jumped up from the chair and screams at vents out of Battler because she's trying to cope her loss. So I don't know, and then all of a sudden, the thunderstorm is like tells Erica to be like, "Hey, calm the fuck down."
いい加減眠くなってきて。一眠りしてから仕切り直そうってことになったのよ。
To smoke out the murderer of the first Twilight, Erica closely questioned everyone involved to check their alibis and evidence. To confirm these, she went around the mansion with them, and when needed, took several trips out to the guest house through all the rain. Her vitality was impressive. Though she was an uninvited guest, everyone had long since stopped feeling anything strange about the way she played the detective. Yeah, she sure has a lot of stamina from just, crazy stuff.
エリカも着実に基礎を固めているようですな。
Like, that's the funniest thing, right? Erica just screamed right during the middle of breakfast or brunch or whatever the fuck, and just sat back down afterwards, and nobody was like, and I'm like, wait, so nobody's gonna question her insanity? So
無駄なことよ。アリバイがあろうとなかろうと、わらわたちの存在を否定することなどできぬわ。金蔵は窓より逃れ、今や六軒島の霞よ。決して捉えることも否定することもできぬ。さしずめチェス盤の裏側にでも逃げ込んだとでも言えばいいのかしら。
その場合はしまい込んだというのが適当でしょうな。
そういえば例の第一の晩の死体、同じくしまい込んだのであったな。ええ、異界と人間界の狭間の私の暗黒にしまってあるわ。あの探偵気取りに見つけられることはあるまいな。当然よ。人間には絶対不可能だわ。確認する？念のためな。そしてわらわたちも今後のベルンカステル教の狙いを今一度読み直す必要があろう。
敵を知れば百戦も危うからずですな。
真に知れば百戦も戦わずに勝てるわ。
いやいや、全く。
Gap opened up a large hole in the sky and had to swallow all of them up. She invited Beato and Ronove to the gap between worlds where she had hidden the corpses. That place was nowhere in this world and existed at no time of this world. In other words, it truly and literally was a place not of this world. In this place, questions such as where is this and what time is it have no meaning. Every single place led to here, but no place could be reached from here. Oh man, I keep stumbling. Furthermore, all times connected to this place, but no time could be passed to from here. In short, this place was just what they said it was, the underside of the chessboard. No, perhaps it would be most appropriate to call this the captured pile, where pieces that have left the game go. Then, through the pitch-black world, a glow like a faint spotlight shone, and 5 corpses came into view. The 5 pitiful corpses with their necks sliced open had been arranged neatly. Their eyelids were shut and their hands joined. Apparently even Gap had respect for the dead.
おや、今回のゲームの第一の番の犠牲者は5人なのですか？6人ではなく。おお、お師匠様ではないか。どこへ行っていたやら心配したのだぞ。ゲームはもう第一の番を迎えて、ご覧の通り最初の犠牲者が出ておるわ。さあ、いよいよだ。ワクワクしてきたぞ。そうですか。ここのあなたは元気そうですね。何よりです。ん？わらわは元気と魅惑のボディ。
Body.
あと気立ての良さくらいしか取り柄がないぞ。
When you high spirits and captivating body, I don't know. I guess with the Vosh segment of his take about Umineko is like he referred to you as the big booby girl, I guess. For some reason, Virgilia praised Beato for being in high spirits, though Beato was taken aback at such granny-like words coming out of Virgilia's mouth all of a sudden. She pounded her chest and answered. Virgilia had been absent often during this game. She might even have been absent when Badler solved the epitaph, as well as during the uproar that followed. Apparently, she'd been absent for so many critical points that she didn't really understand much about what had happened so far in this game.
今のところ出ている死体は5人。見ての通り、首をすっぱりよ。
George, Jessica, Maria, Rosa, Genji. All 5 of them had their necks sliced open by something sharp. The wound opened wider than their mouths, and made it feel as though they no longer need their mouths to breathe.
なるほど。ジョージ、ジェシカ、マリア、ローザ、ゲンジの死体は誰が見ても一目で死亡が確認できるというわけですね。ん？赤か。まあ、お師匠様にケチっても始まらぬ。そうとも、死んだふりなど絶対にありえぬ。誰もが一目で死亡を確認できる死体であるわ。
なぜリーヤは赤を？
さて。しかし、常にお嬢様のことを思われている方です。お嬢様に利する何らかのお考えがあってのことでしょ
ふん。
But they'd hid the corpses here specifically so that no one would be able to use the red. However, Ronove was right. Virgilia always thought of Beatrice first. A slightly displeased expression rose to Gap's face as she saw that the corpses she'd gone to such lengths to hide had now been confirmed dead and red. However, in the end, she remembered that she was only a guest and shrugged.
なぜガープに死体を隠させたのですか？
That's a good question.
今回のわらわのゲームはすでに碑文が解かれているため普段とは変わっておる。今は夏日に仕え、夏日を守ることを目的にしているのだ。彼らの死体を隠蔽することがどう夏日を守るのです？
向こうの手は大体読めてるの。多分これは夏日を追い詰めるための罠。おそらく第一の番のアリバイを突き詰めていくと、夏日以外の全員にアリバイが現れるのよ。
夏日様は昨べは最初に親族会議を抜けられ、その後はお部屋で一人でお休みでした。お気の毒なことに朝までアリバイが全くありません。
金蔵の存在はすでに否定不能とした。しかし一つだけそれを打ち破る手が敵に残されている。
Here I thought hiding the dead bodies is kind of making it worse because it just raises questions or suspicions, if I be say the least.
なるほど。夏日を追い詰め、金蔵は存在しないと自白させるわけですね。敵の狙いはおそらくそんなあたりよ。親族会議をめぐる駒たちの動きからわらわたちはいち早く夏日の孤立を察知し、その罠に気づき、こうして手を打ったのだ。
死体が消える。全員にアリバイがあり、運搬者は存在しない。魔女の存在を主張しつつ、同時に死亡説自体にも疑問を投じることで、夏日をギリギリ容疑者から逃すことができるわ
け。つまり夏日様は第一の番の犠牲者が実は死んだふりだったと主張することが可能ということですな。
いとこ部屋で大勢がその死を確実に確認しているにもかかわらずですか？確認など赤き真実に到底及ばぬ。彼らがいくら確かな死亡を見たと主張しようとも、人間界に赤き真実は存在しない。死体が存在しない以上、夏日は彼らのその言い分を見間違い、トリック、もしくは彼らが全員嘘をついているなどで、いくらでも延々と言い逃れが可能なのだ。
Yeah, the only thing Natsuki can do is to stall things out. Considering she's a human, of course, being being the only target of the situation.
赤き真実なき人間界においては、パーペチュアルチェックは最も有効な一手。
延々と相手を否定し合っての水かけ論、千日手。美しくないわ。
ですが、しかし 美しさとは勝利の先に望むもの。勝利を得ぬ者が欲すれば毒にしかなりませんよ。
勝てば官軍というでな。
私にとっては美しくなくても、航海者の魔女たちはそれを退屈しないと呼んで好むのかしらね。
なるほど。今回のゲームの流れを把握しました。随分といやらしいものになりそうですね。
百も承知よ。そして私たちはすでに夏日がこれからさらなる罠に誘い込まれるだろうことを知っている。
罠？うん。ラムダデルタ教が生み出す19年前の男を名乗る何者かがすでに夏日を脅迫している。もうじきの午後1時にとある客室のクローゼットの中に入り、息を潜めよと命じているのだ。クラウスを人質に取られ、夏日は逆らえん。なるほど。
That's the weird part. I couldn't even tell if this is blackmail or this is just a way to stall up time to make it so that Natsuki couldn't get pressed any further from Erica and the others. Because well,
必要ですね。かばいきれますか？無論よ。何しろ夏日は犯人ではないのだからな。いくら犯人扱いしようとも、真実も幻想も我らに味方する。負ける道理などないわ。
I mean, the human bias is just trying to like force me into believing that Natsuki's the bad person, but I don't know. Kind of weird. Alright, let's see. Natsuki threw her cup of tea to the ground in protest, expressing the anger that flowed throughout her entire body.
それはどういう意味ですか？私が疑わしいというのですか？
先に抜けられて自室に戻り、朝まで部屋を出なかったというお話は賜りました。しかしそれを証明していただかないとアリバイにはならないと申し上げてるのです。
証明？どうやって？
どうやってでも結構です。客観的にあなたには犯行が不可能だったと証明してもらえれば結構なのです。他の皆さんは協力してくださっています。夏日さんもそう邪険にされず、どうかアリバイとその証拠を示してもらいたいと思いまして。
そうよ。夏日姉さんには丸一晩の空白時間があるのよ。先に休むと言って会議を抜け、ゲストハウスへ行き、ジョージたちを襲ったかもしれない。バカなことを言わないでください。どうして私がジョージ君を、そして何より自分の娘を殺さなくてはならないというのですか？落ち着いて。私たちは等しく疑われてるわ。悲しいけど潔白の証明は各々がしなくてはならない。
ああ、 俺たちだって疑いを晴らそうと必死に昨夜のアリバイ立証に頭を悩ませてるんだぜ。
夏日さんかて疑われて面白いはずもあらへん。悔しいと思うなら自分の潔白を証明する何かを探すのが先決とちゃうか。
I mean, that's kind of a one common sense of way of doing so, but the thing is, like, she didn't have an alibi before going to bed, and then until she just got an alibi when she woke up or some shit like that. But even then, like during the night, it's like when you get caught off guard, then something bad happens, you know. The relatives spoke as though they were all under equal suspicion, but the mood about the place didn't feel so peaceful. Erica was still in the middle of confirming all of the facts, but except for Natsuki, who was uncooperative when it comes to proving alibis, everyone else had an alibi that was reasonably credible. Only Natsuki, who claimed that even being suspected was an insult, was uncooperative with Erica, and her position began to grow more and more perilous. This parlor was no longer a place of comfort for Natsuki, and the sound of the cups smashing had made that decisive.
バカバカしいことです。どうして娘を失った私が疑われるのですか。私が昨夜一人で先に休んだからと犯人と決めつけようとする悪意。こんな屈辱にはこれ以上耐えられません。
へえ、耐えられなきゃどうするの？あなたの無実を証明するアリバイを何か示してみせなさいよ。そんなものないくせに。ジョージを返して、この人殺し！
予算買えば。
Okay, now that's just...
夏日さん、あんたも少し疲れてるんや。もちろんそれはわしらもや。少し楽にせんか。
だな。俺たちは少し気を張りすぎだ。
Yeah, you guys are still going on with that same fucking topic over and over again. This is almost as bad as the fucking family inheritance stuff.
夏日おばさん、どこ行くんだよ。
Oh, is she gonna do it?
アリバイ探しも犯人探しも実に滑稽です。台風が過ぎ警察が来れば全てが白日の下にさらされるのです。私たちが探偵ごっこをする理由など何もない。違いますか、エリカさん。
一般論的にはそうですね。ですが私にはそれをする権限がありますので。
You know, even see again, even though you're created and have the authority to be a detective, that's like, you know, you're gifted at having the authority to understand, like, I don't know, some certain political topics to discuss. Same shit, right? Who gave her that authority? No one asked. It was an authority given by words of power from a higher world, so the pieces weren't even allowed to doubt it.
私は退出します。警察が来るまで皆さんのくだらない問答にも付き合うつもりはありません。私を疑うならどうぞご自由に。それを疑い晴らすことも私は警察に委ねますので。
It may be a bit late to mention this, but then again, I guess this happens every time anyway. As usual, the phone couldn't connect to the police. Natsuki said the police would be coming, but that wasn't exactly true. Strictly speaking, the boat would come tomorrow and they would use the radio on that boat to contact the police. Well, it's not like I'll let everyone live that long anyway. Giggle.
夏日さん、一人になるのは危険だ。
Where the fuck's the giggle from? Is that from Erica's perspective? Is this why? Or, or is this like Natsuki's like, or is it the demon inside Natsuki for some reason? What the fuck?
ここにみんなで一緒にいた方が。
いいじゃない。それも立派な証明かもよ。これで夏日姉さんが自室で殺されてたりしたら、それも立派な無実の証明だわ。
よせよ姉貴。夏日さんも俺たちも少し一服した方がいいだろうよ。明日まで体が持たねえぜ。
一服はしても油断はせずにね。明日どころか今夜も越せないかもしれないわよ。
夏日おばさん、部屋へ帰るならしっかり施錠して窓も鎧戸を閉めて安全にしててくれよ。俺は誰も疑いたくない。そしてそれ以上にもうこれ以上誰にも犠牲になってほしくない。
I'm sure she'll be fine.
ありがとうバトラ君。では私は部屋に戻ります。ゴーダ、あとは任せますよ。お客様にせめてこのような状況ではあってもご不自由をおかけしないように。
はい、奥様。心得ております。
Oh, is this the part where she's going to go to her room and hide in the closet? With everyone watching her, Natsuki left the parlor. From their faces, she could tell that they were expecting the classic mystery pattern, that the first person to quarrel and leave the circle would become the next victim. Natsuki couldn't disobey because of the threat against Kraus, who had been taken hostage. Very soon it would be that promised time, 1 p.m. She was to hide for an hour in the closet of a specific guest room. It was easy to suspect that this bizarre order was a trap to select her as the next sacrifice. She thought of various ways to resist, but all methods would be useless against the culprit who had a hostage and was observing her from close by. So Natsuki could do nothing but obediently follow that order, and then claim that she'd been forced to do this for her husband's safety. When the promised time had drawn near, Natsuki had intentionally acted annoyed and smashed the cup on the ground to give her an excuse for slipping out of the parlor. At any rate, no matter how cowardly a trap it may be, I cannot disobey now. I am now the one who carries the burden of the one-winged eagle. Now that my husband, Kraus, has been captured, I must protect it even if I have to crawl through the mud. Of course, I am prepared to do so. I am Ushiromiya Natsuki. Even if I am not permitted to bear the one-winged eagle on my clothes, Father gave me permission to bear it in my heart. Hey, it reminds me of the first episode. The one... something similar was mentioned. Although, I doubt that has any sort of correlation with this one, but yeah. I've managed to get this far by plausibly dashing away in a rage. So far, everything has gone well. Before my eyes was the doorknob of the specified guest room. However, I wonder if it's locked. The servants are normally ordered to lock any unused rooms. Oh no, you're right. That's the worst part. What if it's locked? Then that means that you know, the deadline is screwed. What will I do if it's locked? I had dashed away from the others, pretending I was returning to my room. Popping back and asking a servant to unlock this guest room would be obviously suspicious. If I can, I'd like to get this eerie hide-and-seek over with without anyone noticing. In that phone call from the one who claimed to be the man from 19 years ago, he said I would win if no one found out, but lose if anyone did find out. He said my husband would be released whether I won or lost, but as a person with a hostage taken against me, I'd rather not lose. I don't like it at all, but I have to go along with this game. When I softly gripped the doorknob, I could feel that it was unlocked. Did Shannon or Kumasawa forget to lock it after cleaning? Or did that man unlock it in advance? That man couldn't be waiting for me in this room, could he? And then all that about hide and seek might have been a mere excuse. I kept the fact I was coming here secret, and all the others think I'm resting in my room. If I were to be killed in this situation, it might create a new baffling murder case, like an extension of the one that occurred this morning.
そうならばむしろ好都合です。犯人と直接対決する良い機会ではありませんか。
Natsuki had some experience with using a naginata, though only casually. Unlike Eva, she couldn't brag about being able to hold off any single ruffian indefinitely. As she was now, she had no realistic chance of challenging a man with malicious intent and winning. Wait, so Natsuki see, weird. She was able to bear arms on episode 1, but in melee combat, the only thing she can use is a naginata. It's interesting. Oh, the door unlocked. That's even more. That's even more. Uh, that made me open my curiosity a bit. She readied herself and slowly opened the door. She couldn't just stand around in the corridor and risk being seen by someone. The atmosphere inside the guest room was frigid, and she could sense no trace of anyone waiting impatiently for her. All she could hear were the unsettling sounds of the wind and rain. At first, this seemed to prove that there was no one here to threaten her, but soon, it only made an uneasy feeling rise up inside her even more strongly than before. The closet was just off to the side of anyone entering the room. Lined up inside, it was a set of hangers for coats. This closet, which had nothing hanging in it, was large enough for even an adult to hide in. She softly opened the closet. Of course, there was nothing inside. She would have to hide quietly in here for an hour. The room had a wooden floor, but something like a carpet had been laid in the closet. It seemed sitting down wouldn't be a problem. She had been sure someone would be waiting for her in this room, or that a strange letter would be lying in the closet. In the worst case, she had even imagined that her husband's corpse might be inside there. Oh boy. However, none of these things had she imagined turned out to be true. The only thing there was a cold guest room. The only thing there was a cold guest room and a lifeless closet that silently urged her to enter.
この中に1時間隠れていろというのですね。バカにした話です。
Oh shit. Let's just go along with the plan, I guess. Natsuki shrugged, turned around, then locked and chained the guest room door.
これでこの部屋には誰も入れないではありませんか。つまり1時間の間誰にも私を見つけることはできない。私の勝ちです。バカバカしいかくれんぼですね。
This surely must be a total victory in the hide-and-seek game against that mystery man. However, it was such an easy victory it made her feel uneasy. Normally, this would be against the rules of hide-and-seek. Even if she had won, wouldn't this displease the culprit? And now everyone thought she had returned to her room. If they found a room with a chain set, that would make it an impossible closed room to them. Erica had dashed throughout the mansion to confirm alibis or something. If she noticed that the chain was set on this room, there would probably be an uproar that would end in them cutting the chain and searching the room. If that happened, Nazi if that happened, Natsuki would be found hiding in the closet right away. It would be easy to honestly confess as to why she'd been hiding. However, that man had insisted that she had not revealed that. If she did talk, she might endanger her husband. Thinking of it that way, setting the chain, no, even the lock might be a bad idea. That's right. This room was unlocked when I came here. If it were to suddenly become locked, it's conceivable that it might catch someone's attention. It's better if I don't do anything unnecessary. That man only told me to hide.
結局言いなりになるしかないのですね。
Well, that's the weird part. He never said anything about, hey, don't lock this door, don't chain the door up as well. So, I don't know, man. That's as far as I can hear from the fucking dude from the behind the phone, or whatever that was created. That is. I hate doing it, but I cannot disobey. I undid those two precious locks, went into the dimly lit closet filled with the smell of old wood, and managed to close the door from the inside. Great. Pitch black. It reminded me of when I was young, when I used to hide somewhere and then surprise my mother. But that peaceful recollection wasn't enough to kill off my anxiety. It really is pitch black. From here, I won't even be able to check my watch to see if an hour has passed. I'll probably need to open the door a crack every once in a while to let in enough light for my watch. For now, I'll crouch down here. I thought about clutching my knees, but it hurt my back when I tried. I'm not as young as I used to be. Even though I was made to sit on the floor holding my knees in every PE class as a grade schooler, I now have to struggle just to sit down. Just crouching down here for an hour will probably hurt a lot. Hiding sure is fun. I can't believe I'll be hiding in the darkness for a full hour with nothing to hear except the wind and rain. Ironically, Natsuki had made Jessica do the exact same thing in the past. She had done it when Jessica was a little girl to scold her for her persistent bad habits and teach her a lesson. She thought that making Jessica stay put in the darkness would sprout a desire to reflect on her mistakes, and that, this way, she would understand that what she had done wrong. It almost feels like I'm being made to do the same thing. If that's the true purpose of this hide and seek.
甘えた考えです。
This must be my naivety. The hope that if their goal is to make me repent, nothing will happen here during this hour. Uncertainty and fear of that man's shadow are not what I need right now. Will someone suddenly come to this room, open this closet, and do something horrible to me now that I've come here in total secrecy as promised? That's what I should be worrying about. The culprit, or one of his accomplices, is very close by. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to observe me so thoroughly. I don't want to think it, but it's highly likely that the culprit bought off one of the servants. The culprit hid an eerie card with autumn written on it in my room. My personal room is always locked. That trick wouldn't have been possible without a key. Instead of believing that they obtained the key when the servants weren't looking, it's much more realistic to assume that one of the servants lent the culprit a hand.
しかし、どうして私の好きな季節が秋だと。気持ちが悪い。
The thought that this mystery man might be peeking into my heart sent goosebumps running across my whole body. It's true that I like autumn, but I've never said it out loud. I don't think anyone's ever heard me say it. If I asked even my husband what my favorite season is, he would probably be stumped for an answer. No, just once I told it to a single person. That's right, Shannon. On an autumn day long ago, I happened to be in a good mood, and I mentioned that autumn was my favorite of the four seasons. So the culprit, or one of their accomplices, has to be Shannon.
私が秋を好きだというのはシャノンしか知り得ないこと。ならこれはシャノンが関わっているという明白な証拠ではありませんか。それをあの秋というカードが証明しています。
Well, I guess that's one way to have an alibi.
なんということ。10年にもわたり当家の世話になりながら。
I trembled and shook with rage. Didn't Kinzo once say that anger is the fastest sedative to cure fear and uncertainty? It's easy to tell the most fearful humans from within a crowd. They're always the first to get angry. I remember him telling me that. So I realized that this anger was a sign that I was actually frightened, and I tried my best to remain calm. However, this is a vital clue for turning things around. Shannon may not be reliable as a servant, but if she's an accomplice used by that mystery man, this might actually be convenient. A weak-willed girl. If I threaten her, she'll probably spill the name of the mastermind in an instant. I'll secretly tell the police about this. It might become a big clue towards arresting the culprit.
あのカードで私を驚かし、うまく手綱を取れたつもりだったのでしょうが、むしろ墓穴を掘ったようですね。
I never told anyone except Shannon that I like autumn. This is unshakable proof that she's working with the culprit. Though I once thought this time in the closet would crush me with uncertainty and uneasiness, it's actually given me the start of a counterattack. If I wasn't given this time in the darkness, I probably wouldn't have noticed this. I'm almost grateful to the culprit for making up this foolish game. My mood brightened. I still can't guarantee that my husband is safe, but I'll definitely get him back and force the culprit to face judgment. I clenched my fists tightly and further strengthened my resolve to avoid losing this fight at any cost. At that time, I heard the sudden sound of someone trying to force the someone trying to force the locked door open, and my heart leapt.
なんや、開いとったんか。
The voice was Hideyoshi's. I heard that quiet voice as though he was talking to himself, coming from what was probably the hallway. Apparently, he had thought it was locked and tried to unlock it, but had ended up locking the unlocked door instead. Once again, there was the sound of the lock turning, and now the door opened with a faint sound. Why is Hideyoshi-san in this room? Footsteps that sounded like his came in, and there was the sound of him closing and locking the door behind them. Then came what seemed to be the sound of him setting the chain. Don't tell me Hideyoshi-san is the mastermind. Or else, an accomplice? Is he planning to do something to me in this room? It would take some time to unlock the door from this side, much less remove the chain. If Hideyoshi-san doesn't intend to let me escape from here, he won't give me enough time to undo the chain. In that case, if he opens the closet door and sees me crouching here pathetically, just what kind of fearsome words will he say? I don't want to be found. I don't want to be found. I beg you, pass right on by the closet door. Please keep going into the center of this room. Please keep going to the center of the room. My head was so filled with a throbbing sound that it felt like it was about to explode, and I almost missed hearing his noisy footsteps. So, when I heard a clunking sound coming from the center of the room, I finally realized that he'd passed by the closet and was deeply relieved.
念のためや。どうせこの天気じゃ夜と変わらんわ。
As he whispered, he did something that made a clunking sound. He was probably closing the shutters on the windows. Just in case? In case I tried to escape out the window? No, that can't be it. That's right. When I left the parlor, everyone was talking about possibly taking a break. After all, several murders have occurred, and the weather's bad. There'd be nothing abnormal if someone chose to rest in the guest room here instead of returning to the guest house. In that case, locking up and just closing the shutters to guarantee safety is the proper course of action to take. When he finished closing the shutters, there was a thunk, as though he'd flop over on the bed. It was surprising how much of the situation could be grasped just by the sound. What's going on here? Did the man from 19 years ago plan all this out to put me in the same room as Hideyoshi-san? No, that probably isn't true. He probably planned on me hiding here, but Hideyoshi-san coming to take a rest here might have been outside the scope of his plan. Thinking about it that way, having him in the room might be odd, but it also might guarantee my own safety. Unlike his wife, Hideyoshi-san is the kind of person I can talk to. If Eva-san comes, things will probably get complicated. Maybe I should slip out of this closet now while he's still alone, reveal everything to just him, and ask for help. But if I do that, my husband might be killed. Until my husband is released, I shouldn't do anything rash. Should I go out and talk, or hide in here? Moaning from my headache and biting my lower lip, I resisted the urge to crawl out of here. Even if I talk with Hideyoshi-san, I don't know where my husband is being held. I'm sure the traitor who's observing me is nearby. Just talking to him won't solve everything. I suspect that Shannon is the traitor, but that's no proof that Goda and the others aren't. It's all useless. I guess leaving here and confessing is too dangerous after all. Eventually, I heard a strange sobbing noise. Whose voice was it? I think this is a good place to stop from here. We're almost about to approach an hour of the part in anyway. So what do we learn from here? So Natsuki couldn't find an alibi because she's just so easily panicked. And then while she found an excuse to get out of the parlor just to go to the closet at that exact particular deadline of the time. While she was hiding in the closet, she made a theory that Shannon, so the only character that figured out her favorite season of the year is Shannon, because her favorite season is autumn, and even Shannon knew the answer to that, and Natsuki suspecting her. So it would be pretty funny if Shannon did it just because, she gets, bullied by Natsuki, spite of all things. But it would be pretty silly. Although with Natsuki, having that sort of thing, like memorized in her head. Now here's the part though in the second Twilight. If Shannon gets killed off, then then her alibi or whatever, like Mamorai's dying, will be pointless. But if she's still alive, then that'll partake in Natsuki's advantage. Interesting. But that aside, next part's let's want to figure out where that sobbing noise is from, especially when Hideyoshi is asleep, or maybe he'll wake up from that sound. Who knows? With that said, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.